I've gotten a couple of requests for this. It's kind of just a nice pinky spring makeup look. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I am by no means a makeup artist. However, everybody's kind of got their own little tips and tricks and the things they do and the things that work for them. So these are the things that work for me. They may not work for you. They may not be what you're supposed to do, but I don't really care because they work for me. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. I have already moisturized my skin, so now I'm going to use a primer. I have a Smashbox primer here. I love these little samples because they last forever. I'm putting just a little bit of that on my face, about a pea-sized amount on my entire face. And I'm just going to work that in with my hands. All right, so I am going to use my Philosophy Hope in a Jar foundation. This is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And I'm just going to buff that into my skin. Sorry if I'm looking down, but I've got a big mirror here and I've got a second mirror here. I don't have any mirror up there. I'm going to start with some primer, only instead of primer, I'm just going to use a cream shadow. This is the Bare Steady Paint Pot from MAC. I'm just going to go ahead and pop that all over my lid, just using my fingers. So I have these two palettes that I made myself. I'll go ahead and insert a link in the description box on how I made them. I'm going to be using two different L'Oreal Hip products. One is from the Adventurous palette and one is from the Retro palette. I'm going to start with the one from the Retro. Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush. I'm just going to take that all the way over the lid. All right, now that that is evenly across my lid, I'm going to move on to the pink, and that is this one. This one right here. I'm going to take a MAC 217, and I'm just going to dab that onto the tips of the bristles, not along the entire thing, just the tips of the bristles. And I'm going to place that at the kind of outer corner of my brow bone, and I'm going to work that through the crease. Start there because more product is going to be there, and you obviously want more product at the outer edge of your eye than you do at the inner. So if you were to start at the inner part, you would end up with a lot of color right at the inner and then less at the outside. You don't want that. You want it the opposite. So start at the outer and work in. And blending. Lots and lots of blending. The more blending, the better. The more you blend, the more it's going to stay. The more you blend, the better it's going to look. All right, so now that I have that blended across the top, I'm going to kind of fill in around the corner so it doesn't look strange. And for that, I'm going to take a MAC 239 and I'm just going to push that right at the outer corner to kind of close up that gap. And then I'm going to blend that in. So that side is done. I'm going to move on to the other side. and do just the exact same thing. The black liner I'm going to use is a NYX Collection Noir black liquid liner. You can use any black liner you like. This just happens to be one of my favorite liquid liners. I find that the easiest way to get a nice line is to look down into a mirror. So I've got my mirror here, and I'm going to angle it up, and I'm going to look down and do the line directly along. Now, if you want to add a flick in, flicks can be a little tricky. They're not as complicated as it seems. They just take practice. Lots and lots of practice. I look directly into the mirror so I can see exactly where my flick is going to be. I draw in the outer part of the flick and then join the lines up. Now on to the other side. Now this, I think, is the most complicated part of doing a flick or even liquid liner in general, is making them equal. From here, I'm going to skip the mascara right now. I'm going to do the eyebrows first, just because at this point, I think your eyebrows look really funny when they're not done. So I'm just going to brush those up. This is the Too Faced Brownie pencil in the color Brownie. Now, I've had my eyebrows tattooed. Unfortunately, we didn't quite tattoo them dark enough. My mom was the one who did it. Actually, she does cosmetic tattooing, in particular for cancer patients. So I was one of her guinea pigs, along with my aunt and a couple of other people. And at first they were perfect, which probably should have been our first hint that it was going to be a little too light, because right after they were done with the scabbing, they looked perfect. So next time I go to Phoenix, I will be having those redone, and then I won't have to do quite so much with the eyebrows. But in the meantime, this is all I do. I never fill in below the brow. I always fill in above. It took me a really long time to figure out how to do my eyebrows. Just like a lot of people, I over-tweezed them because they were straight across, and I hated straight across eyebrows. And then just make sure to brush them through, and that will blend that with your brow and make it look a little more natural. I think we will go with the Full Exposure Smashbox mascara. I got this with well, I first got this with Birchbox and loved it. I got a second one when I bought the Full Exposure palette, and I do like it. It works quite nicely. It does have a massive brush that's bigger than my eye. I kind of have small eyes, but seriously, huge brush. But it does make for beautiful lashes. So I'm just going to rock that back and forth. And I'm just kind of going out shopping. I'm just going to put a little bit of the Brow Duality in Sand, my lower waterline, just to kind of brighten up my eyes a little bit. My eyes are done. Okay, so moving on to concealer. I've had this concealer for forever and it's one of my favorites. So this is from Sheer Cover. This is the light and medium duo concealer. As you can tell, I pretty much only use the light side. It's got kind of a pinky undertone to it, which is great for under your eyes. So I'm just going to use my fingers to just brighten up under the eyes a little bit. So any dark circles that you've got will kind of disappear. You could use a brush for this, but I find that this particular formula blends better if you just use your fingers. All right, I hope this looks okay because my battery just decided to die, so I had to charge it a little before I finished. So I just put some concealer on, and now I'm going to just put a little bit of highlighter and blush on. So for my highlighter, I'm going to use the Sephora Micro Smooth Baked Luminizer in the color Stardust. This was in my favorites video because it's amazing. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that along the tops of my cheekbones. Just a little. And again, I have another one of my little palettes. This is for blush. And this particular one is called Barely Blushing. It is by L'Oreal. It's the L'Oreal True Match in Warm 3-4. Just gonna dab a little bit using a Real Techniques blush brush. And I'm gonna start at the back of my cheekbones and just work that in. I'm using the same concept here as I used on my eyes. I'm going to put the brush where I want more product. And in this case, I'm okay with more product at the back of my cheekbone than I am at the front. So I'm going to start with the brush back there and just blend. And that's it for my skin. I am going to powder just underneath my eyes a little bit, because that concealer can tend to crease a little bit. If I powder, it doesn't, plus it'll stay put. Just a little. And around my nose. Now onto my lips. I'm just going to add a little bit of this. This is the Bare Minerals Get Ready Marvelous Moxie lipstick. I love the smell of this lipstick. It smells like peppermint. And there you have my finished springtime pinky look. I hope you like it. If you are looking for any other looks, I would love to hear it, and I will try to do some of them. If you have any tips or suggestions, I would love to hear them. And if you want any information on any of the products that I use, I will link to them in the description box below. So yeah, that's it. If you guys wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!